a good kickstart on this, that might be enough to just getting them those extra rounds they need to be on that T side.
Yeah, it definitely felt like consolation rounds at the end of the day. I never was truly feeling like that comeback was really on, but that is just inherently the nature of rounds like that. Gonna jump back into Nuke though. CT trying to start Legacy as well. This is where they do some great work. And getting info, slowing the pace down initially, throwing just one mini smoke. They don't want to go straight through that door CT smoke, so they'll wait for it to dissipate and then they'll re-engage. They won't have a smoke mini though, and that's the main issue. It looks like a double pump fake into ramp. So it's up to Nissim to try and find some critical kills, and he won't find anything, Laz.
It's so awkward too, because like you can just see it. I can't remember who was beside Dare, but he was like trying to get it, across on the red. And things get a little awkward. So luckily, for Legacy, they're able to find themselves at least a trade back, and now Sodson might be able to get this timing, or maybe they're able to sneak away. Oh, I can't even believe he's able to find that timing on the kill. A little bit of fakeroo, but these guys are already, from getting info, just going to commit to the site. So this is not looking great right now for the T's, but all of a sudden, yeah, they're making good connections with the Glocks. I was thinking this was just going to be a sure done round. And now the fake plant comes in, things get a little bit awkward for Sodson, but lucky Carson might be able to get himself out of this situation, but again, he's got to get the bomb down. He's got to go for these double kills here. Not an easy situation to go for, and there's the instant trade back. The number advantage will save the day here for Legacy.
Yeah, getting info, getting a little frisky there with that initial pistol round call. I like the double pump into the ramp play, but even after getting the kill on Anissim, I think they overcomplicated after that. I think right after you get that 1-for-1, you commit to the ramp play. You just gotta fight Sodson. You can't let him get comfortable, and unfortunately, he reads that entire situation from front cover to back cover like it's nothing. And now, getting info with how many times they fake the plant, do not have a bomb plant, and we'll have to run with these pistols. I think of Lux would get activated, but Carson chimes in alongside his teammate in Shane. Man advantage for getting info, and make that matter even worse for Legacy as Dumao hits the deck. It's just 2 MP9s now that have got to defend against the Honor, but getting info is throwing at them.
The one thing, I don't know if you'll agree with me, Paladin, but let's see if this works out here. Okay, nice. He doesn't even get hit with a shot. I was thinking, look, the old Timberman core, like, I always think, Brazilians are really good with Deags. I always felt like the Timberman core were, like, pretty good with Eagles. Like, they were kind of that, like, NA team that were, like, you always could expect something big from those guys with Deags.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really feel like there was ever a round where they didn't have some sort of threat in a round, because they were so good with their deagles. Dare especially, I feel like this guy could rip heads clean off, excuse me. And now he's got another opportunity to notch one more of those exemplary rounds into his career resume. Gonna walk out into the ramp, and Lotto cannot connect. Truly unfortunate. They would have loved to at least get one and reset the situation, but instead the bomb will go down, and Nissim will have nothing to do with it. He is down the vents, though. He's giving it a little bit of a look in. I don't really fancy his chances, especially considering he doesn't have a kit. Breaks the glass, causes a little bit of a fuss here, opens the door as well. I mean, at this point, I just go back to J-Hall and try to pick up the song. He's going to commit, and he's going to fall. I guess we'll have to give back one more round, and plant or no plant, getting info still get the job done.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with you, Paladin. Like, I was kind of thinking the exact same thing about the sense of, like, I'm surprised he's committing to this. I think he was hoping to find a quick fight, maybe to, potentially go for it, but you don't have a kit. You knew there was an M4 that was going to be dropped, which I thought he was going to potentially just run back for, which I think he could have been successful getting it. But either way, it's an effort. We'll say that. I'm not going to grade it, but it's, he tries it at least, which is not bad. But getting info, surprise of events, with the Deags, once again, they're able to find some big connections, a little bit of an overextension from Legacy. So the fact that they've kind of you know, initially were just kind of trying to put their bodies to work, and that second round was definitely kind of the, you know, the turning point for these guys, where I think they went for some fights they probably shouldn't have. But look, I mean, no harm, no foul for them. I mean, this is still a very early on game, and getting info now, I mean, this is where they really need to get as many rounds as possible. Like we said, their T side is also not the greatest, so both these teams are showing us that it's the name of defense, really. So it's all about how many rounds you truly get on that T side to transfer over.
Not necessarily calling both of these IGLs elite in their region. They're serviceable, yes. It's gonna have to come down to firepower, and cliche in that sense, but such is the nature. Sadzin will not have anything to say in this one. Not even a consolatory frag or tag. He'll fall. Nissim now left up alone once again. Momentarily will hit the deck. That's a nice freebie to find out to Dare, but not long for this world. Not at all. And getting info, get through that force buy with ease. Instantaneously looking to get themselves 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, it feels like Legacy are mortal again.
Yeah, it's definitely not really showing me, like, you know, I think of Legacy, and I think we, you know, again, it's hard to say because we feel like they're definitely a team that can break through pretty well, but they're kind of not really giving us a lot of warm and fuzzies in the moment. But still, I mean, this round is definitely not going to get any sort of warm and fuzzies. And getting info, actually, I kind of like this plan too, because the fact they're actually going to play aggressive. I think they got Dare already down in the event. Not bad at all. This is just a little bit risky, but I like it. I like the fact that Dare commits to something like this. Now the Legacy player is looking for a fight. Find a P2K. That's a clean little. There we go. So they're going to be able to get themselves a gun at the least. But I mean, getting info now in a prime position here. Like, I feel like, you know, Paladin, just keep the AK, put the other 4 pistols, go for a hunt, look for an exit. You know, just try to, you know, do damage. This is going to be successful for them, considering what they were dealt with.
Yeah, they can get out with that AK. Play bodyguard for Dumont. The bomb is planted on that lower site, and if these guys are not careful, all of them will go down to the bomb. And the verticality of it from the lower floor is very dangerous. And I mean, they've got to go all the way back to spawn. I'm very nervous for these guys at this point. Back all the way up to garage, and I think, yeah, garage should be fine.
Terrorists win.
But I think from that region of, like, red box, either they're just dead completely, or they'll be very low. So I see what they're doing. They wanted to see if they can get another exit, but all good. Buys should come through, and you've got your prime rifler on the AK-47. But it's put up or shut up now for Legacy, as getting info. They're getting crafty with how they're finding entries here. I like how they're playing around with outside. Can they get away with that when the guns are out for Legacy is the real question. It's certainly looking like it with the pace that they're taking. Look at this. Dare just charging through, and he's beaten the timing of the nades outside. But Nissim is here to pick up the pieces, make sure that this doesn't happen. But Dare says, I don't care. They'll go charging through. He'll find a head, and they're going to continue to speed things up here, getting info. I like this. Push these CTs back, make them feel uncomfortable, and force them to save as early as possible.
Yeah, honestly, Dare, I love the fact that he just tried something a bit bold, and like, you can even see Nissim was just not ready. Like, he kind of had a bit of an inkling maybe, but like, even his positioning, his crosshair placement was just a bit off. So right now, for getting info, a really decent take with just a very simple execution, and the fact of Dare just being able to get the sneakers on, going for a big sprint, succeeds on it. Like you said, the timing was just perfect. This is going to concede defeat here for Legacy, so they're just going to keep everything in the spawn. Not bad at all. This is looking like a pretty dominant, I guess, a pretty proficient T side so far. And surprisingly, again, Legacy showing a lot of weaknesses on the CT side. This is what's really surprising me right now, Paladin. We talked about the first game on, Ancient, where it was Legacy, really coming out the gates with a strong lead. And now it's the opposite, right? Like, it's now we're seeing getting info. They put themselves in a really nice lead with 3. So for Legacy, they're going to have to figure out what they need to do differently. I would like to see a timeout just because I think, again, they just got to make sure they can maintain control in this game.
Yeah, I do see that the protocols that they had there with the lower rotation was perfect. I mean, you had Nissim immediately there to make sure that if a player did get down lower, there is an immediate response. But in that situation, I think fighting isn't necessarily the best option. I would have, probably considered just using a piece of anti-rush utility, but I don't think he was necessarily thinking they'd be that fast up. But now it's about an adaptation process here for Legacy. You understand that they're speeding up the pace in terms of how they want to find their entries. They're trying to speed up the process of the default, skip a couple of phases. How do you respond to that? How do you set things up to make sure that doesn't happen again? Do you have a little bit more of an aggressive setup outside? Do you have a player close red? Do you try to take lobby control early? Do you try to have a ramp setup? I mean, there are a number of responses that the CTs can throw in. And it looks like a little bit of the former. They're going to plant Sajin and outside, but now's the upper pop. I love this calling from Carson. It feels a little bit unorthodox, but it's really catching Legacy off guard. That being said, they've still got themselves the man advantage. And this, of course, getting info into some sticky situations. Marky will claw another back into the 2v2 we go, and Marky's already considering going down the vents as Dia has already considered the fact as well. This slid out and has an opportunity to 1v2. Flash is good, and Marky's headshots even better. Getting info continue their winning ways.
Not bad at all. I mean, getting info really is, again, using a lot of aggression, and that's kind of the one thing about, again, the old Timberman core that I felt like was a good staple for these guys. It's like when they were starting to feel it, when they were starting to pick up a little bit of the energy, and they knew like their firepower was kicking in a bit more, that's when you start to see some quick decisions. The aggressive rifles really start to make the shots when they need to, and that's exactly what we saw, right? Like everybody was able to find some duels, just creating a lot of space, and I love the fast pace that they're going for. This is like some old school Timberman from what I'm seeing, because this is what they used to do. Then they kind of changed their whole game plan. I know things have changed now with some of the players, but it's kind of cool to see that they're going back to that winning way and that winning recipe that used to be successful for them in the day. But now Lux gifted this 1, maybe 2. He will not, but at least he does some good damage. So now we're back to the 4 and 4 with Dare down to 28. Duma's already lost half his HP. And it might even be fast aggression once more, because they're going to just try to swing onto this. That's going to be Lotto. He's able to get himself out of here. He needs to be able to get this util, and his teammate's going down. Now Lotto needs to frag out. He has to be able to find multi-kills, and indeed he will with the 2. Leaving it to Shane. He's spotted the doctor, but he still needs to fight it. He's worried about the Heaven player. Able to go for the 1v1, and now it's Nissim. He has to play a little bit of tic-tac-toe. They need to just do something. Ring around the rosy. I don't know. They're playing every single game in the book. They spot each other. Even a damn Raylan's in this situation. And Nissim finally takes him out.
It's just absolute nonsense in the 1v1. But Lotto doing so much work to find the multi there. How he gets out of Mini there and catches out the odd, again, crafty way that Getting Info are trying to mold an entry there, where they're playing through the cross smokes that they have, and they're much closer than initially anticipated. But Lotto gets around the corner. I think he's Sightmate as well, finds one before he falls, and it baits Lotto beautifully at the opposite vent. And now, all of a sudden, Legacy have notched themselves their second, but still a lot of work to be done here, because I don't think they've completely solved the riddle of what Getting Info is throwing at them. These quick pops into the upper and lower bomb sites are not working. Or sorry, are working, and they just don't have a response, is more what I'm trying to say. This time, got that inner sight with the late wrap from Dare. At least initially.
was kind of thinking, talking a lot about them just being aggressive and going for fights. I mean, they've been doing it multiple different times, different ways, but it's good to see them kind of, again, just collecting some thoughts. Dia, though, does have the up boom ready to go. Maybe it can play a quick track for us, maybe. Oh, I might miss him. I was thinking maybe he might have fumbled this one a little bit, but at least he can find this ball now. Getting info. I thought maybe they could have escaped changed life. A little bit of back and forth we go. AK picked up here with 19 bullets, but Dare with a big old swing. And I don't even know in this situation. Yeah, Paladin, it looks like they're going to just commit to the save because you can already see Lux. He's posted up far away. Sodzin realizing, okay, I might be able to just find a duel here. I mean, actually, they're going to commit to it. Just kidding. I'm just completely. But Sodzin gives his life away, and now Lux, yeah, you're out.
I mean, I think you're right there. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that they should be saving there. You've got a player stuck in lower, can't come to the vent, and you've got an op on the retake trying to do a hut flank. That's just never going to happen. Now Lux goes down as well. Like, you've got to make these answers just split second. You've got to commit to the play as quick as possible if you're going for it, right? And if you're not, then you've got to get the hell out of there, and they never do. Now they've got pots and pans to defend and getting info. I mean, I'm really liking how they're calling. Carson is really taking me back to the initial Nouns days where he was a little bit more off the leash. He was calling, he was a little bit looser, letting those individuals make some more decisions for themselves. And look at this, man. Entries coming up everywhere for them. Nissim will try his hand at battle back off this ramp play, but Shane has got it locked down. Sodzin now the last one alive, pushing in through outside, but it's a bit too late at this point. The 7th now on the cards for getting info, and Legacy don't have any response. The adaptation is just not there.
Bomb has been planted.
Yeah, it just seems like they really lost, like, again, the wind and sails, right? It just even seems like they had that like, a little bit of a lobby crunch right there where they like did some big damage. I think that was with Shane, and I think it was actually Dia. I could be wrong, but they weren't even able to get those kills. Like, I mean, the fact they were able to recover it, getting info, just able to find those duels. So I don't know, man. This is huge because we talked about them, like they're in the ECL, you know, NA league. I mean, they're sitting themselves at a really good record. These guys are sitting pretty when we talk about playoffs and everything like that, but it's Legacy now that it makes you wonder. It just really makes you wonder. But surely not a triple, no, but at least some little consolation prizes here and there. But 7-2, Paladin. I didn't think I was going to see this kind of a scoreline, and now the op has to get out. This is where we need to see some activation from Legacy before this thing kind of, you know, falls off the track.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about it, right? The overlapping in map pools of some of the strengths of Legacy, but there are still clearly things to be worked upon, and Nuke is definitely one of them. They didn't want to go into Dust 2 knowing that it's a bit of a comfort spot for somebody like Carson, and right now they just don't have any answers here on the defense. Sodzin will again get native to key out. Nissim's got the AUG out. I mean, this is like a Kerrigan move when he's killless. I don't know if you've seen that. When he goes like 0-7, he'll just like pull out an AUG, hoping that solves things. And sometimes it does, but other times it doesn't. Single door gets swung open. This one finds his first. Sodzin cannot hit the flick. Shane just a little faster on the trigger. Ramp is retained. Evan now under threat as well as Lux goes 1 for 1. 3v3 now. Getting info, slowing the pace down, but Dumao has found a little bit of a timing, has a chance at catching some backs turned, but at this point he finds nothing. Does he want to continue his adventure, or does he die trying? And I think it's going to be the latter as Carson finds him. And that freeze looks mighty beautiful right now for getting info. Legacy all of a sudden, they're undermanned. You've got 2 players downstairs and no information. This T-side can do whatever they want with 40 seconds left on the clock. Probably make a right one unless Lotto can pull things back. He finds one, quickly traded out by Shane, and they're into this top site. Bomb should be able to go down. Now it's a question of Nissim getting up or not, and he will.
Yeah, Nissim though. But I mean, again, these HP is low, right? Like combined is like not even it's at 49. Hooker Carson's gonna make it easy. He's gonna make it pretty swift, and there we go. So 8-2. So, you know, I was surprised because even, you know, for getting info, like you said, I think it was Lotto that was outside and he was going for that fight to getting info. Like, man, they're just feeling it. And, you know, it's just like that old school Timberman Nouns that we were talking about off the leash. Like you said, these guys are like, you know what? We're better. We're just going to frag out. We're just going to do what we do best and shoot them in the head. And that's what we're starting to see. I mean, these guys are the ones that are calling timeouts. And like you said, I think Carson's actually, you know, called a really good game in this. It just feels like he's miles ahead of these guys. He knows exactly every move they're going to try to make. So, and even for this round, I mean, these guys are in a bit of a unique purchase because you got the Lux with the M4. Everybody else is kind of equipping the pistols here to just preserve for the following. I don't know, Paladin. Like, we got to see, like I said, we got to see something different from Legacy. I feel like it's just been kind of the same thing over and over, really not mixing things up in the playbook, in my opinion.
I mean, there is no playbook. That's the long short of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Make it.
They're not fighting outside at all. You've got players on islands when they are fighting outside. It's like that one solo Lux play under silo. You don't have any aggressive red presence. You don't have a secret crunch. And you're just starved of information. You're just not getting an opportunity of figuring out what the opponent is doing. Not at a lobby crunch either. They've not tried anything, really. Nissim's the only one that's really found any sort of impact, and that's just because they've been coming at his map every round. And look at this. These deep smokes has allowed getting info to get all the way into heaven. Now, this may be a little bit of an overstep, though, as Dare continues to try to push the issue, finds so many players, and doesn't find a single kill. This has to be the opportunity where Legacy converts, and they absolutely will. Shane and Marky. But Lotto's found his. It should be an unwinnable situation for the Mexican, and it absolutely will. Legacy find themselves their third round, and I think this is where getting info kind of pushed the issue just a tad bit too far.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think it was them just really trying to bully, right? Like, you can even see, like, they were just pressing as much as they could into hell. They were just trying to fight for those different players that were outside. So it really just kind of felt like an ego bit of a round. They're like, nah, just do it. Let's just go for fights. Let's just brawl this out. And, you know, Legacy finally able to get some kind of a response. There was a lot of awkward encounters, right? You had to go for hell here. You had to go for fights above. Like, it's just, it wasn't a great situation for these guys. But nonetheless, last round of the first. Op's going to be in the hands of Dia. And surprisingly, actually, Dare, despite that, you know, round loss, is going to be MAC 10. So this does give Legacy, you know, on paper, some kind of an advantage when you talk about it, but what do we see from getting info? Are they really going to get secret control again for free? Like, almost just cross without any sort of intel? It definitely looks like it might be so.
They haven't even naded open the smoke, man. I mean, how can they let that just happen? They can't let that happen. And yes, you've got Lux rotated downstairs, but he is the only man that is downstairs at this point. Deep nade should soften up a couple of players, and it does. And Lux will reorient himself at the stairs. But he's got to call Nissim sooner rather than later. That Molotov will definitely convince Legacy of something, but nobody's budging upstairs. And then a flash as well goes straight at him, and Lux will find one. The positions have been found, and it's just up to Nissim. They've got to know that he's around this area. And Nissim takes one more down with him, but again, man, just no information, very static defensive play, and getting info are doing whatever they want, whenever they want, here on Nuke.
Oh, Duma actually with a nice little bit of a shot, but again, the cost of his HP, but 2-2. Tries to go over the swing a little bit early, so now Lotto has to do everything by himself. Not gonna happen, so that's gonna be the end of the first. We see a significant lead happening here from getting info. We're going to take a little break as we catch our breaths and get ready for the second half.
quake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof. Best in the game, they all know my name. Can't run now, it's too late. Got winning in my blood, in my DNA. It's destiny, it's fate. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable. I'm invincible. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable. I'm invincible. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil, let him let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof.
Well, getting info, were definitely able to find themselves a lot of info. They were even able to get a lot of rounds, as now they're going to be able to put themselves on the CT side, where statistically that is the better end for them. So maybe, Paladin, is this enough for them to close the deal, or maybe this little bit of a break has allowed Legacy to find some breathing room?
And they've got a chance here. And we spoke about the ramifications of this series and every series coming up for Legacy. Playoffs not in reach just yet. Maybe with this T side they can inch closer. It's gonna have to be a hell of a pistol to start things off. They're gonna go charging in a hell of a lot will find the opening incision. They're gonna try to continue this good work alongside Lux, and Lux will find himself 2 more. It does leave it all on to Markey, and this quick outside take was not kept up with by getting info. And this CT side will have to hold on for a second, unless Markey can piece this one together. Clears out lobby, finds that nobody is home, but all 3 Ts have scaled downstairs. As soon as that bomb goes down, all the pressure put onto Markey. No kit either, so that doesn't make matters much better. You've got full Kevlar. If you saved, you could have a helmet and maybe even a better purchase, but he wants his time in the spotlight. Flash comes in, and he's just not doing anything, not an inch, and once he does see a pixel, his head is ripped clean off. So Legacy, they want to start this comeback off strong, and they've finally put their first foot forward.
Yeah, honestly, in a big way too, right? I mean, again, like it was Legacy that were, I think, struggling on the pistols before. So the fact that they're able to get themselves a pistol when it matters the most. I mean, I feel like I say that all the time, but it's just like it's 9-3. Like you just need it to boost yourself in terms of morale, in terms of the round. So definitely a nice way. And like you said, they weren't given an inch. They definitely looked very calculated on it. So a good way for them to respond back, to still show a fighting chance in this game, but I'm still worried though, Paladin. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, when we look at the statistics of this, there's your T sides. There isn't much of a playbook. I don't know. Maybe there's something here now. But now, I mean, getting info. Double players into ramp, and actually Dare actually going to be close on by as well. So this is a nice little bit of a 3-player stack leading into this ramp control. I like that they're just waiting things out, playing a little bit cheeky, not too forward as well. But even you can see Legacy again, they're just very hesitant. They're worried about what kind of a punch they're going to get from getting info.
They're still trying to ease their way back into this map, counter-strike. They open on the street door, smoke can fight into Markey, but they've wasted a lot of bullets. Kind of a little dicey there. Carson's still fighting, and the lobby crunch is beautiful. I mean, it works from all angles, and none of these Legacy players were prepared. They were ready to hit the A bomb site, but they get hit from every which way. Nissim still has a chance to put this all to bed. 34 HP across the two players. And Carson gets downstairs, preemptively considering this possibility. And Nissim is still yet to pick up the bomb. 20 seconds now, and eventually Nissim will have to make that upstairs decision. But he's still thinking that Carson's around every corner. Oh no, he's right into the open arms. He was not prepared for that at all. I mean, the open bomb site upstairs was right there. I was considering that that was just going to be the decision he made. But Nissim overthinks it just a tad. And the captain of getting info just a step ahead. The comeback starts just as quickly as it ends.
Yeah, what a round. And that's what I was kind of saying, right? Is the fact that getting info, we're like playing this little bit of a, you know, triple player at one point on the ramp. They weren't over pushing it, but then the fact that they went for the late lobby crunch like that, man, chef's kiss. That really just put them in a big bounce back on this. And I was thinking like the pistol round was critical for Legacy, but turned out that's not really the case at all. Like really was just a little bit of something lining up nicely for them. And now Dumal's going to try to get aggressive into vent. But it's actually Nissim to find the opening engagement. Now the noise cue's been made. Marky's able to reposition himself nicely, but now he has to be able to find these multi-kills. And unfortunately for him, he's not able to get really much going at all. These pistols, once again, Paladin, it seems to be kind of the Achilles heel for both these teams. Like, I don't know how we're in this position with a 5-on-2, and now you need Shane and Dia, two players with M4s. They have to be able to either win some duels quickly, or they got to get the heck out of here, because they realize they ain't got no time and they got no real estate to work with.
Yeah, they're gonna head for the hills, go back into the CT spawn, and Legacy going tit for tat here with the CT side. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that you don't have rounds to do this. You're gonna have to eventually string a couple together if you're Legacy. But right now, this defense will have at least something to write home about. It doesn't have to just be 5.7s. It doesn't have to be pistols on the other end. Shane can drop over an MP9 as well. So there's a little bit of potency behind this next 4 spy. But they can't rely on the lobby crunch again, right? There's just no way.
We'll have to wait and see, but a little bit of an awkward one for money in terms of the guns here for getting info, but it's going to be a nice little bit of a stackerino here into the ramp. Dumal, you sneaky little devil. Oh, he's not even going to commit to it, actually. I thought he was going to actually make the cross, but it looks like he's still kind of hesitating on the mini-map. Now he's getting spammed away. He's taking a lot of damage. He could have been able to get that secret control for free. Like, hesitation on decision. Now Carson, big moment for him. Maybe this time right. That's one. That's two. That might be the 3. No, but look at that 1 HP to spare for Lux. Oh, the robbery for Carson. Really good control of the MP9. The fact that he could just tank or something like this, you love to see it. And now Dumal, the guy that couldn't cross into secret on a 1-on-4 clutch, needing to come alive. But I think Paladin, this might be a little too late.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, a by design play there from Carson. Your expectation is that he gets 1, but there's still an immediate response with a fast lobby flank, as well as a player rotating in from the heavens, instantly trading out those low HP bars. And Dumal finally has gotten a secret, but with no teammates and no bomb. And more importantly, no time. Round will expire. Getting info will get their 11th, and this means that once again they'll trade blows, but they don't have the runway here, the Brazilians, and that's the main issue. They've got to find a way to get 2 on the board and snap the money, and they've got to do it now.
Yeah, they're running out of chances. And like, again, for any folks that are just kind of tuning into this late, I mean, this is where, again, the biggest premise of this whole game and this whole, you know, double best of ones is the fact that Legacy were in this position where they, you know, they weren't in the region for a while. They had to forfeit a bunch of their matches. This is critical. Like, this is where we were talking about they should be fine, but when they go into a situation like this, down 11-5, when really you need to be getting as many wins as possible just to securing yourself a playoff contention, I mean, this is definitely going to be a sour one to drink if this is the case, and this is where it ends. And the tea leaves kind of point the direction here of getting info, but Legacy have been able to do comebacks before, but this is a long stretch. This is a stretch that's not comfortable. Right now, you're seeing a lot of back and forth on the outside, and all despite of that fight, it's 3-3. And Shane now play the safe properly, and oh man, Shane lines up the one, cannot be able to find the second, but at least damage is getting inflicted.
Oh, but they're losing bodies. And now it's all about him. He's done a tremendous job to pull this into a relevant position, but he's naded down to smithereens. And map point has been found from getting info, battling back through adversity. They had a mini comeback on Ancient, but here they are stamping their authority across the Brazilians, potentially snapping 12 match wins in a row.
Yeah, that's huge. Honestly, I was kind of nervous for Carson because like you could see he was running out. He had like his utility out, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then I realized, oh, okay, he knew he had a molly. If he threw that, he could just buy some time. And then again, an AG just add a little bit more insult. Love it. So now 12-5, and Legacy showing an absence, and now they're just going to try to run across Secret, but yeah, they're just late on this. Read like children's book. They're just fully predictable at this point. Getting info, know the storyline. And they're just making this easier and easier for them to get this thing done right now. Carson getting close onto this. He realizes he might get overwhelmed by some players. He might be able to get this kill, and indeed he does, but at least he gets the trade off. But this thing's got to be done. This thing's got to be over. Lotto now in the clutch of the 1-on-4 to keep themselves in this game. Otherwise, Legacy going back down in the records, where they're going to be finishing things off with a 7-9 record here in ECL. Now the smoke in front of him, everything just against him. The cards are dealt not in his favor, and there we go. Getting info will be able to split the night with a 1-on-1.
It's not what Legacy were looking for, but it definitely is for getting info. Sitting at top of the table and retaining a lot of their presence up there. Getting info, make the best out of a bad situation, and they'll be happy with how Nuke ended up. It wasn't a favorable map either in terms of the veto, but they showcased that they got a couple of